Okay, so we've looked at our bees. This is after our first feeding, and you'll see that some of these have already taken the entirety of their pollen sub, so those will get a new pollen sub. Some of these, the ones that like this one that didn't make it, if they had a pollen sub, they went on like here, where they had fully taken their patty, like this one. This one had taken his patty completely, and here was one that was dead with a pollen patty, and that'll go right there. And then we'll do the same with the rest of these as we find that some of these bees are in really good shape. As the British would say, I'm quite chuffed. I'm excited. This is kind of towards the end of November, and these bees look pretty good, so I'm pretty happy. So what's next? So we're getting my big tub here, and we'll get out some pollen sub, and we'll start putting that on. That's what maybe. Well, hold on here. Sorry you had to see that, but this is our tub of pollen sub, and so we'll start putting this out, and then we go to this giant contraption here, which is our feed system, and we'll start putting some syrup on. So we'll get started with that, and I'll show you that. Okay, so these have all got some pollen sub on them left, but this one we're going to go ahead and put some on. They come in these wax covered patties, and these will consume these. It's got some sugar, some essential oils, some actual pollen. We're real careful about the pollen that we put on, obviously, because we're always consumed about transmitting diseases. So one of the things we look for if we're going to put pollen sub on is if it's actually got real pollen and not something synthetic, protein like soy protein or something like that. We look for it to have been irradiated to eliminate any of our more dangerous diseases. The one that we really are concerned about is called American foul brood, and it is a spore-based bacteria, and because it's a spore, it can generally live in that colony for 40 or 50 years. And so we put something on there that might have American foul brood. We may not know it for another year, 2 years, 20 years. So we're kind of careful about that. So anyway, and then after we do all this, we'll feed, and I'll show you a little of that. Okay, so next we're gonna do the feed. This is my giant feed contraption here. For some reason the bees like to go after my wrist. Let's see if you can see that right there. Oh, there it is. That's a little bit of they like to go after the wrist. Anyway, so all we do here is we've got kind got a gas pump and a hose reel that we just unreel and start feeding. So we'll get that going. I'll show you what that looks like. So here we go. Now I'm not going to be able to say much because this is pretty noisy. These are our feeders, and right now we're also delivering some antibiotics. The bees, this time of the year, we like to treat them for that bacterial infection I was talking about. So in order to keep that suppressed, twice a year, in the fall and the spring, we'll treat with antibiotics. And kind of help protect our colonies. So that's really what we do.